We now expand on our breaking news. South African Airways has agreed to provide repatriation charter flights to various international destinations. In a statement, the airline said that the first of these chartered flights would be for the repatriation of German citizens to their home country. They're expected to operate from Friday from Johannesburg to Munich and Cape Town to Frankfurt. Joining us on the line is SAA Spokesperson Tlali Tlai. Just to give us more clarity, Mr. Tlai, very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. This is a move that is coming in the middle of a lockdown. Talk us through how it will be operating.
Good morning, and good morning to the viewers. Yes, we have been approached by a number of embassies that have a representation in South Africa, and those whose nationals are in South Africa at the moment. And everything needs to be understood in the context of COVID-19, where our country declared a state of disaster, which was followed by a travel ban, and later on it was followed by a lockdown. And after the lockdown was announced, the number of travelers or foreign nationals had a limited window of opportunity to get out of the country. And the reality is that they would like to leave, and their embassies have since approached our government, and then there was an interaction between ourselves, government, as well as these embassies to find ways of ensuring that we are able to facilitate their travel. As you have correctly pointed out in your intro, that this will be repatriation flights that will operate on a chartered basis. That means that we are not going to accommodate individual travelers who approach us as an airline to say, I would like to return to my home country. But those interested party travelers who are foreign nationals need to go to their respective embassies and make arrangements with them, and the embassies then would approach us for us to facilitate their transfer subject to the requirements and conditions set out by our own government.
In terms of numbers, how many countries and how many individuals are we looking at this point in time?
I may not have a list of embassies that have approached us, safe to indicate that the last time that I took note of the situation was we were going to operate no less than 19 flights. But I can also indicate to you that based on the work that has been done, some of the arrangements are at advanced stage. Hence, we are able to indicate that we will start the operations in terms of transfer of passengers with Germany as of tomorrow. We are in discussions with Belgium as well as Brazil. So tomorrow there will be 2 flights operating from Cape Town and Johannesburg to Frankfurt and Munich respectively.
Initially, the plan was that respective countries would send their own aircraft to repatriate their citizens. In terms of those discussions, what has changed now with SAA providing the service?
I wish I could speak on behalf of government, but I am not so authorized to so speak. We operate subject to regulations that are in place, and the embassies will then get in touch with our government to make certain requests. And once our government is able to accommodate their request, the airline will then be approached to check whether or not they have the capacity to provide such service, which question was answered in the affirmative. Hence, we are undertaking this mission.
Now, looking at the social distancing guidelines and the Management Disaster Act and all the measures that the South African government officials have put in place to ensure that they curb the spread of COVID-19, with the individuals that you will be taking back to their respective countries, what sort of health precautions have been undertaken to ensure that those citizens that are leaving are not positive with COVID-19?
That's an important question. We have had discussions with a number of embassies insofar as the compliance with these requirements and conditions is concerned. So much so that one of the conditions for us to be able to allow passengers to board our aircraft is a requirement for them to undergo a screening process. They will undergo a screening process to determine whether or not their temperature is okay and whether or not there are any visible signs that are associated with the coronavirus. in the event the port health is able to give an indication that there are certain passengers who are showing signs or certain things that have to do with their temperature or any other symptoms associated with the virus for that matter, they will not be allowed to board on our aircraft. Beyond that, we can indicate that we operate our flights and we have history of having operated to a number of areas and regions elsewhere in the world that have had situations with epidemic outbreaks. Central Africa, there are destinations where we operated where there was an outbreak of Ebola. We recently repatriated our own nationals from the People's Republic of China, where our crew undertook that mission and executed it there with excellence where there were no reported cases. That is an indication of the level of training and preparation that is undertaken by the airline.
Thank you so much for your time. SAA Spokesperson Tlali Tlai bringing us up to speed with the process that's set to get underway, with SAA now agreeing to provide repatriation charter flights to various international destinations.